Welcome to the channel. So we've got a 5-point plan that Mr. Ten Hag, when he becomes Manchester United manager, will have to implement. First one is managing big egos. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer managed Man United's egos with a bit of an arm round the shoulder. He kind of gave him days off. Ralph Rangnick's done the complete opposite. He's basically publicly called out all the players, Rashford, and he's been very, very, very honest, possibly too honest. And one of the biggest problems he's going to have is to clear the squad of the big egos and also to manage the big egos that are there. And there's no doubt about it that the United dressing room is full of egos, self-interested players who care about their perception and their image more than the team. And you can tell from some of the performances they've got a number of the managers sacked. Mourinho, Van Gaal, they've basically thrown managers under the bus, not tried, not ran, been out. I mean, against Everton, I think Everton ran 15 kilometres more. Obviously, United had more possession, but United, a lot of big egos in there. People like Luke Shaw going away on international duty saying that they feel more love with England. Pogba going away saying that he's been depressed and that United have failed him by not buying the right players, yada, yada, yada. He's got to get rid of those egos. You cannot move forward with players that don't want to be at the club. So, number one, remove big egos. In at number two, he needs to fix the toxic dressing room. And the reason why we know it's a toxic dressing room is because of the number of leaks that come out of it. There's leak after leak after leak, and it's pretty well known who's leaking. But you're gonna have to get rid of those players. Players that don't play need to respect the manager and respect the fact that they're not in the team. There's a lot of leaks about training being bad. Michael Carrick's a bad coach. Kieran McKenna's a bad coach, and now they're saying that Ralph Rangnick's coaching team aren't good, and that Mourinho was a terrible manager. All these things. The common denominator is the players, and it's a toxic dressing room, and they need to fight for the shirt and the club. That's another big challenge. Third one, he needs to overhaul the squad. So, you know what? United's biggest challenge, ironically, and you might not agree with this, is probably selling players. Like, how do you sell players that are on £200,000 a week? The only clubs that can afford those players don't want those players. So in order to get rid of those players, you need to come to some arrangement with their wages. So getting rid of players, you're talking about 10 to 12 players that probably need to go. And he needs the power to sell those players, and he needs the power to buy the right players that he wants. And that may take a few transfer windows and some pretty bad results. I think he's going to look into the youth system. Pretty common for Dutch managers to do so, especially ones linked with Ajax. They look in the youth system. Obviously, Van Gaal did it with famously with Marcus Rashford and a number of others. So the youth system looks quite good. Maybe Ten Hag will look in there. The next one is he needs to harness potential. The Ajax team he's managed, obviously it's only in Holland, have got a reputation of being a vibrant young side that play really good football. He's worked with Pep Guardiola at Bayern Munich. He managed the Bayern Munich second team, and he really needs to use his coaching ability to improve these players. United haven't got bad players, but people like Sancho, Rashford, they really need to get more out of them. And people like Fred and Alanga are probably the only two outfield players that you can say have had okay seasons. And we really need to be a coach team. Like, we're really undercoached. So we really need to get those young players and harness that ability. Final and fifth point is he needs to get the team running. Ten Hag has got a high-pressing, attacking-minded game similar to Guardiola. It requires tremendous work rate from the players. Rangnick has tried to implement this, and it's not worked. We just don't press. Maybe in the first game against Crystal Palace, United pressed, but Ten Hag's going to have to get him sprinting, running, and being aggressive without the ball. And I think that United have, to be fair, it's not maybe the players' fault. They've played under coaches like Van Gaal and Mourinho who play with a low block and allow the opposition to have the ball quite often. So it's going to be a big culture shift, but the players have to put more work rate in. There's no doubt about it. So that's the 5-point plan from Erik Ten Hag. Let's see if he gets the money, the time, and the power to implement that plan. It can't be much worse, can it? Famous last words.